Do you find yourself held back by a lot of things? Yes, most of us feel held back. We are not achieving what we would want to achieve. Our dreams are not coming into reality. And there's so much that goes into that. This is Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Now Tell Us, we come to get educated, inspired, or just have a good time with our guests. And our guests are always good, great guests. Today we have a special guest. His name is Daniel Packard, and he's going to be here shortly to to tell us how to be completely free from what holds us back. How's that? Before we go to meet Daniel, I would ask you to share this episode with all your friends. If you have a question, ask. We'll be glad to answer. If you have any comment of any kind about the podcast, just give it. We really appreciate feedback. So I thank you in advance for the feedback that you're going to send us. And as we don't have much time because Daniel has so much to say, he has a lot to tell us. Why don't you join me as we go together to meet our special guest today, Daniel Packard? Here we go. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Anthony. Pleasure to be here with you and your audience. I am ready to tell the audience of Now Tell Us, tell them some things that they haven't heard before, but more importantly, are going to give them an understanding of what we all really want in our hearts, which is to really be free of what holds us back, not learn about it, not manage it, but real freedom, I think, is what our heart wants. And also to give your audience some hope, because when I struggled, and when a lot of people struggle, they try so many things that doesn't solve what they're struggling with, whether it's anxiety or insecurity or perfectionism or procrastination or sabotage. Everybody, your audience knows what holds them back, but what they don't know is how to be free of it. And when you can't be free of it, you start to lose hope that maybe you just have to be stuck like this. And so my goal is to show people why it's possible to not just be free of this, to unlock your potential, but also just give people hope that you really can be free of these things. And I'm going to explain to you why that's possible. Because I know it sounds cool, but your audience is always a bit skeptical. So to the skeptical people out there who would love to be free of what holds you back, but you're skeptical, I understand. So I'm here to give you an explanation, to give you hope, but also help it make sense so you're less skeptical.
And hope is all we need. And when you come to give us hope of a future by the things that you're going to tell us, we are excited to have you on our episode today.
Thank you. But I want to say one thing. Hope is beautiful, and without hope, where life gets hard.
Yeah.
But it's not all we need. And the only reason I bring it up is because for so many years, when I was on my spiritual, psychological, personal development path, I would hear phrases that sounded really good, like hope is all you need, or trust is all you need, or faith is all you need. And what I realized is no, those things are important. But if you're choking, you don't just need hope. You need someone to apply the Heimlich maneuver. If there's a mechanical issue, you need to apply the mechanical solution. And hope doesn't get that. Hope is great. God is great, gives you strength. But if your car is out of gas, hope doesn't fill the gas tank. And so I say that because what we need, and the reason we're able to help people, is because we developed a very simple system. Like it's mechanical and it's a system. And it's the system that's getting people freedom. And so I always tell people hope is great, God is great, faith is great, but also sometimes a system makes your life better. If you break your leg and you can either have hope or a doctor says, I'll put a cast on your leg and in 6 weeks you'll be walking again, you don't just want hope, you want the cast.
Mm.
So I'm not dismissing the power of hope, believe me, it's a beautiful thing, but I also want to let your audience know hope with a system, that's a powerful combination.
Yeah, you managed to drag me to your side. I'm imagining of this, and when you talk about God and or nature, some people would say we, as a farmer, I'm called to be active. Yes, I say that it's God that makes the crops grow, but then it calls for me to go and plant that seed, to go and cultivate that land, to take care of it, to fertilize it in order for it to be fruitful. So it's not just a matter of hope or faith or belief, it's a matter of, yes, faith, hope, and also action and application of what it is that we believe in. So I agree with you. And yeah, it's not the only thing. Hope is not the only thing. We need much more.
We need more. And the reason
Yeah.
I bring it up is, I work with a lot of people of faith, and they have anxiety, they have procrastination, they have caring what people think. And they say, I just keep praying, I keep praying to God for strength. And on the one hand, it's really beautiful, but on the other hand, it makes me sad because I know, because we've understood how to solve these problems, you have to address there's a real root cause that needs to be healed. And if you don't heal it, no amount of praying to God's going to get you out.
Mm.
Um, and I believe the pain that we feel from the anxiety, the pain of being insecure, the pain of sabotage, the pain of perfectionism and overthinking, I believe that pain, you don't want to pray it away. That pain is actually God trying to get your attention, to get you to learn the lesson.
Mm.
God knows we won't listen right away. I didn't. God knows we listen to pain. And when the
Mm-hmm.
pain gets bad enough, we go looking for answers. So don't try and pray the pain away or have strength to persevere the pain. I invite people to see the pain as God communicating to you, to tell you there's a test, there's something He wants you to learn, and when you learn it,
Mm-hmm.
the pain goes away. That was my experience. The, what we developed, what my company developed, is a system, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to understand it. It's a system of a complete set of tools with instructions and steps, such that if you work the steps in the right order, you are free of what holds you back, whether it's anxiety, procrastination, insecurity, just anything.
Mm.
But the reason I built this program was because I tried so many things that didn't address the root cause. And so I would pray and I would hope and I would have faith, and it wasn't enough. I
Mm.
needed to really understand mechanically what was going on
Mm-hmm.
and then create a real simple mechanical solution.
Mm.
And so I now look back and I see the pain was not there to be pushed through or overcome, but to be listened to. And when I listened to the pain,
Mm-hmm.
understood the root cause of the pain, and then built this system, the pain went away because God doesn't need the pain to get your attention anymore. And I have been completely free of anxiety, insecurity, procrastination, sabotage, overthinking. I've been chill as a cucumber, happy, tons of energy, passion, purpose, and fulfillment. But I ended up here because I didn't try to overcome the pain or push through the pain or pray the pain away. I saw it as an alarm, as God telling me, hey, I need you to figure some things out and then go help others figure it out too.
Mm. When you say that you work with a lot of people, what kind of people do you work with? And in what
Well,
way? In what way?
so before I tell you that, I'll tell you kind of how I ended up even in this situation.
Yeah,
I
please
was
do.
somebody who, you know, I grew up in a household where it just, they, they did the best they could, but it was a very emotionally cold home. I didn't get the I love yous and the good jobs and the attaboys and gold stars. And I once asked my dad, like, why can't you just tell me you're proud of me? You know, like, why is that so hard? And I was crying. I was in a lot of pain. And he said, it's not my job to tell you when I'm proud of you. It's my job to tell you when you screw up.
Mhm.
Now, years later, understanding how people operate, I know my father, that's the best he could do.
Mhm.
But in that moment, it really affected me. I felt not good enough, unworthy of love, which then led to low self-esteem, and I had anxiety and I mean, just all the things that people struggle with. I had all of them.
Mhm.
And like your audience, I saw I was struggling and I went looking for help. I went to therapists and psychologists and doctors and spiritual teachers and religious leaders, and I went to retreats and I read the books and watched the videos, and I did it all. I did it all. 10 years and $100,000 I spent trying to be free of this and be the best version of me, just be happy.
Mhm.
But after 10 years and $100,000, Anthony, I had some insights, I had some understanding, I had some tips and tools to manage, but I wasn't free of it. And so not only could I not be the person I wanted to be, and I
Mhm.
wasn't living the life I wanted to live, and I was watching other people live the life I wanted to live, but also I felt trapped because I tried everything, it didn't work, and I started to feel broken, like this is my fault, and maybe this is as good as life gets.
Mhm.
And I turned to God, and I just said, like, what do you? I know there's a test here, but I've been at this 10 years. What's the test? What do you want me to do? And I remembered something from childhood. My dad told me something very powerful. He was an inventor. He was a physicist, but also an inventor. And he told me, he said, if something in this world isn't working, you can invent something better. Don't just accept what's up. Just you can improve things.
Mhm.
Be an inventor. And he also told me something that stuck with me. He said, anybody can have a theory. Everyone's got a theory. He said, but what matters is results.
Mhm.
And it's the person who gets results, that's the person you should trust. And if they're not getting results, maybe they don't know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
And what I saw was that after 10 years and $100,000 spent on all these experts, I just was honest and I said, they're well intentioned, but this isn't working. I'm not free of this, and this is bad results. 10 years and I still have it? If you took your car to a mechanic and 10 years later you still had car issues, that's bad results. You
Mhm.
want your car to run. If you went to a doctor for a broken leg, 10 years later your leg still hurts, that's bad results. People want to
Mhm.
be free of this stuff. And I just looked at this $1 trillion industry and I said, this is bad results. These people, we're not free of it. It's all just management. It's $1 trillion band-aid industry. And I felt in my heart that God said, go invent something better. And because I went to engineering school, I was trained in engineering school how to look at complex problems and break it down into a simple mechanical understanding. And then you build a prototype.
Mhm.
And then what do? You test it. You see, does this work? And oftentimes it doesn't work. So then you improve it and you refine it and you optimize it. And it takes a lot of work and a certain training and mindset to go from theory to something that consistently works and get consistent results. And I knew how to do that, and I knew I was good at it. And I said, well, what if I take this approach, this engineering approach, to human suffering?
Mm-hmm.
Not spiritual, not psychological, mechanical. And maybe we could solve this. So I tried. I started my own research company called Full Liberation Technology. And that was our goal, to see if we could engineer a solution so people could be free of this stuff quickly and affordably.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know if it was possible, but we had to try, for my pain, the pain of all the people. And I was one of the first people that got the benefits because I was using our tools we were developing. And I remember waking up one morning about 3 years in, and I felt calm, like a real deep calm, Anthony. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, ooh, this feels good. But I thought, oh, it's got to be temporary. There's no way this is permanent. So 1 week goes by, 2 weeks goes by. It's been 10 years. 10 years and I'm just calm.
Mm.
I can feel some stress for maybe like 5 minutes, but I'm just calm. But also the fear of rejection, needing people to like me, the procrastination, the sabotage, the overthinking, the people pleasing, it just went away and never came back. I'm
Mm-hmm.
free of it. And it's incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and when my team saw the results, they said, Daniel, we did it. We figured out how to solve it. And I said, no, we figured it out for me. But first of all, it took 3 years. That's too long. But secondly, we need to get this to the world. So we spent another 5 years to develop this online program, the system, so that people could get the results that I got in 3 years, but get it in 6 weeks. And make it so that it would work for anybody. We don't want people trying and failing. That's what the world needs, is something reliable and consistent that works. And so that's what we developed, is the 6-week online program. It's a system that gets you free of what's holding you back in 6 weeks, because that's the result. That's what people want. And because we care about results, when people work with us, you don't pay at the beginning because we haven't helped you yet. We haven't gotten you the result.
Mm.
As you go through the program, we're measuring numerically with data and tracking how you're doing. And by the end of the program, if we haven't helped you, you don't pay. You don't pay a
Mm.
penny. You only pay at the end once what you're struggling with is gone and not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what people deserve. That's the right thing to do. And to answer your question, to figure this out, how to do this, was a lot of work. We worked with 3,000 people. And I worked on 5 continents because I wanted to figure out a universal, simple thing that worked for everybody, not just some people. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctor with a broken leg, I don't care where country you're from, what religion, what faith, what skin color, if you put a cast on a broken leg, it works. Universal. And I wanted this to be universal, so I worked with monks in India, I worked with addicts in South Africa, I worked with business owners in Europe, South America, the US, Canada. We went all around the world testing the system to make sure it was universal, mechanical, and would work for everybody.
Mm. That's beautiful. So the 6 weeks that someone goes to work in the system or employ the tools that you provide in the system, how is it like? Trying to imagine.
Well, it's a good question, and it's a question people often ask, like, what are the tools? What's in the system? And I'm not going to tell you what's in the system because that won't help you. I'm here to help people be free of these things. And if I tell you one piece of the system, that's part of the problem, is that people are spending all this time and money looking for individual tools. And
Mm-hmm.
individual tools won't solve this quickly. It would be like um, if you wanted to make chocolate chip cookies and you had a chocolate chip cookie and you said, this is delicious. How do I make chocolate chip cookies? And I just hand you flour. It's part of it, but that won't get you a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
So the key to the program is not any one thing. The reason the program is so effective is because it's what works. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean is, what doesn't work Usually when people go looking for help, whether it's a therapist, a spiritual teacher, a guru, anything, usually you get like one tool or one perspective, and then they send you out on your own. It can be change your mindset, believe in yourself, quiet the ego, notice your thoughts. It's usually one or two techniques, and then you're sent on your way. Now, one or two tools is fine if you want to manage things. Like, if you want to manage things. But if you hired someone to come and rebuild your house, rebuild the foundation, and that contractor showed up with one hammer, just one tool, and said, I'm here to fix your house, would you be concerned because they only had one tool?
I will be concerned.
Yeah, why would you be concerned?
Because it takes a lot of tools to put it up and running.
Exactly.
And
if he showed up with one hammer and a telescope, that's more tools, but would you be like, wait a minute, that's not the right tool for a house? Would you be concerned if the contractor had a telescope and a hammer?
I will be concerned.
Yeah, and the reason is because to really create change, whether it's a car, a body, a house, you don't just need one tool, you need multiple tools, but a set of tools that are designed to work together. It's a complete toolkit. A doctor has a complete toolkit. A dentist has a complete toolkit. A contractor, it's all a complete toolkit specialized to get that job done. But that's not what your audience gets. They get individual tools from one person, then they go to this person, then they go to that person. And that's why people are failing and stuck with these management. And then they blame themselves. So I'm going to tell your audience, if you've been struggling with something for a while, it's not your fault. It's not because you're broken or there's anything wrong with you. It's because the experts you trusted gave you one tool here or one tool there, and that's not going to get the job done. You need a complete set of tools that have been tested and optimized to work together to address the root cause and get the job done. That's why our program is effective. Not the one tool, the system of tools that we designed to work together. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
And the other reason the system is so effective is not the tools.
Yeah.
Because even if you're given all the tools and ingredients that you need for something, that's not enough. You need something else. Let's say, again, we go back to the chocolate chip cookie metaphor.
Yeah.
And you had a friend, and he didn't know anything about baking. He didn't know anything. He just knows he wanted a chocolate chip cookie. And you give him everything he needs: flour, water, eggs, a bowl, spoon, an oven. You give him everything he needs. Is that enough for him to make a chocolate chip cookie?
Not really.
Why not?
Because there is no menu. There's no instructions.
Exactly.
Some instructions, some guidance.
No instructions. What do you do? Do I take the flour and put it in the oven? Do I put the spoon in the flour? What do I do with the oven? How long? Without the instructions, the ingredients are useless. You need instructions, what to do and when. But usually when people go looking for help, the therapist, psychologist, spiritual teacher hands you like one tool and says, good luck. They don't give you instructions, what to do, when, in what order. So not only do we have all the tools, but we've laid things out so it's very clear what to do on what day for what amount of time, and then you get the result. That's key. People have better instructions on how to make an IKEA bookshelf than they do on how to be happy. So I want to tell your audience, this is another reason you failed, is because the people that you went to for help, they meant well. They gave you some things, but they didn't give you the instructions. And without the instructions, you're not going to know how to fix this quickly. You're going to be banging your head up against a wall for years. So it's not your fault. You're not broken. You're not trapped. What you need is a complete set of tools with the instructions. That's why what we do. And so I'm just trying to give people hope, because intuitively your audience hears this and goes, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Where do I get that? We've got that for you. That's what our system gives you. And then it takes the confusion out. People get confused when they try things. They get confused and then they fail and then they beat themselves up. In our program, the instructions are very clear. You're not confused. You know what to do on what day and how. But then there's another key part of the system. And I'm telling you this partly so your audience understands why the system will help them, to give them hope, but also so that they understand why they failed in the past, so they don't blame themselves. There's a lot of teachings in this world that are true. Believe in yourself, have faith in God, be grateful, believe in yourself, have confidence, and they're beautiful concepts. But if I turn to you, Anthony, and I just say, believe in yourself, do you think you can just magically go out and do that tomorrow?
No, you can't.
No. And the reason is because believe in yourself, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's like going to a gym and you want to be stronger, and someone says, here's a 1,000-pound weight, lift it. You can't, that's too big, you're not ready for that. And you try to lift it, at the very least you can't lift it and you'll give up, or very worst, you can hurt yourself. So there's a lot of concepts out there. Believe in yourself, have a positive mindset, go for it, let go of the pain. It's too big, and people fail. In our system, you start small and simple, with little weights. Little simple doable things you can do every day, and you build strength through repetition, and when you're ready, then you move on to the next level and the next level and the next level. So to your audience out there, you'll hear this word just a lot. Just believe in yourself. Just don't be afraid. Just open your heart. That word just, that's like telling someone, just get to the top of Everest. It's not just. It's a seriously big thing. But they just say just, and then people try and fail. This is not easy to do. You need the steps in the right order. And that's how we help people. So if you've tried things in the past and then you failed, you won't do that with our system, because you start simple and you get stronger each day until you're ready to do and be the person you want to be. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It makes sense. So, working with people from around the world, and you say you've been there personally and in all those places, um, which could be your most memorable experience around the world, and interacting with people, helping them, using your system, which comes to mind, that one of the exciting times that you had there?
Oh, there's so many. As you know, we're all here to help. And because what we do is so effective, every day we have clients who come to us in so much pain. This is just what came to mind. This wasn't the most impressive, but this just happens to me every day. I had a client who came to me. He had anxiety and low self-esteem. And not only could he not be the person he wanted to be, he said, I can't be a good father. He said, I want to be outside playing with my kids, and I'm curled up in a ball in terror in my office. My kids don't have a father anymore, and I don't feel like living. And he had tried everything, Anthony. He had tried therapy, psychology, and spirituality. And he heard about the fact that what we do and that we only charge at the end. And he said, that's incredible. I got to try this. And 3 weeks into our program, he just sent me this message and he said, thank you. I said, for what? He said, I have my life back, but more importantly, my kids have their father back. And knowing you're not just helping one person, you're helping more people. It was a very meaningful moment. But through my travels and adventures, there was two just where I had an experience that I'll never forget. This is when I was working in South Africa. We were working with addicts. People find out about the work that we do and the effectiveness, and the South African government brought us on to bring our system to be part of the national response for addiction and mental health. And one of the ways we were serving was also to go into churches, because churches have a lot of people in pain who are very committed and have a lot of faith, but faith isn't going to solve these things. It'll give you strength, it'll help you persevere, but it won't get rid of what people are struggling with, I don't believe, or not quickly, because we work with a lot of very faithful people. So the idea was to bring our system into churches, and then it would spread that way. And what we do, people of faith really like. So I was told about this big church in Johannesburg, and I went there in an Uber, and we're driving through areas, and I don't know where I'm going, and then I don't see any buildings, but way in the distance I see this tent, this huge circus tent with a sign that says that's the church. And I go in, and it's a church, and it's in session, and there's the pastor, and there's 1,000 South African women listening to this pastor. And I walk in, and everybody looks, and obviously I stand out. And I just sat down, and the pastor knew I was there. He knew who I was, and that I was there to talk to him. And he stopped what he was doing, and he walked up to me with a big smile, and he said, welcome to our church. That's my bad South African accent, I apologize. He said, welcome to our church.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said to me, do you speak Zulu? Now, I'm a white Jewish kid from California. I don't speak Zulu. But
Yeah.
I looked at him, and I said, I touched my heart, and I said, I speak Zulu here in my heart. And he smiled, and he said, oh, that is much better. And then he went up to the front of the church, and I'll never forget this moment. He said, everybody, my friend Daniel is here. I want everybody here to welcome my friend Daniel. On the count of 3, I want everyone to welcome Daniel. And he said 1, 2, 3. And in perfect harmony, 1,000 God-loving South African women in harmony just went, welcome Daniel. 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Funneling South African godly love. And it was a real religious, spiritual, I'll just never forget it, just being there and just hearing 1,000 women in unison, just with joy and love in their heart. Welcome, Daniel! 1,000 people. That was a memory I'll never forget.
And it's good that you had an experience there, and you loved it. Wow. So thank you for coming to our episode, Daniel. We love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we hear about your system and how it works for people and the results that you've been having. And we got the idea that we can, or the person that is interested in going through your program, your system, using your tools, only gets to pay at the end of the episode, the period, the 6 weeks. How do you like connecting with people who are interested to find out more about the system?
Well, part of why our system is effective is it's simple and it's mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be, just before I tell, well, the short answer is people can just come to the website, danielpackard.com.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason the system is, because when we tell people we can solve things, and even when we tell people you can pay at the end when you get results, people don't understand that. They think, how? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
How can you guarantee it? It doesn't make sense to them. And if it doesn't make sense to them, they're going to think it's too good to be true. So let me explain to you why we get a 90% success rate, why we solve it quickly. Because people aren't used to that. And the reason is because our approach is different. What people are used to is spiritual and psychological. And spiritual and psychological is a great way to understand something. Mm-hmm. It gives you insights. It gives you a way of understanding what's going on. And there's value in that, to have insights. And it can give you wisdom. But where it starts to not be so effective is if you want to solve something quickly. Mm-hmm. Understanding is not the same as solving. So people are used to mechanical and psychological. Our approach is mechanical. Mechanical means if you do this, this will happen. This is connected to this, and if you do this, this will always happen. Mm-hmm. That's how when you go to the doctor with a broken bone, you don't get a psychological evaluation. It's not spiritual, it's mechanical. Your bone is broken, that's mechanical. And we know if you put a cast on a bone, there's a mechanism that fuses the bone. It's mechanical. So it works for everybody. So what we realized is everything that's holding people back, whether it's anxiety, procrastination, insecurity, self-doubt, overthinking, people-pleasing, whatever it is, we saw mechanically those aren't individual problems. Those are just symptoms. They're symptoms of something very simple, which is fear. Mm-hmm. If you're anxious, you can call it anxiety, but can you see you're just very afraid? Mm-hmm. Somebody who procrastinates, you're not a procrastinator. It's that there's a fear that when I finish the thing, maybe I'll be judged or they won't like it, and that feels scary. So I'm going to procrastinate so I don't get to the end where the scary thing is. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. People pleasers. You're not a people pleaser. You're afraid to make a mistake. There's a fear there, and you're trying to manage the fear by being perfect. Mm-hmm. I can go on and on and on. Humans, you don't need me to tell you this. The root of all evil is not money, it's fear. Fear is what keeps us from happiness, from authenticity, from joy, fulfillment. They give it these different names and they sell you these different products. It's just fear. Mm-hmm. Agreed? Mm-hmm. And we discovered that fear originates in the body. It does not come from the mind. The mind is a symptom of the body. Okay. It's coming from the body. It's not a psychological issue, it's a body issue. You feel fear in the body. Nobody says, I think anxious. You say, I feel anxious. I feel afraid. Where do you feel it? Your throat, your chest, your heart, your stomach. We feel these things in the body. Mm-hmm. Specifically, the nervous system. The nervous system has the word nervous right in there. Nervous, which sounds a heck of a lot like afraid. So mechanically, what's going on is people have an unhealthy nervous system. Mm-hmm. And the nervous system is making you feel extra afraid. And then all that fear creates either anxiety, doubt, the perfectionism, the overthinking, needing people to like you. So it's mechanically in the body. Mm. But the reason this is good news is because we know that things in the body can malfunction and they can also be repaired. If you break your leg, nobody thinks they spends 20 years working on a broken leg. It's mechanical. You go and you get it fixed. Mm-hmm. If you don't take care of your teeth and you have all this pain in your teeth, you can go to an expert who understands teeth and they can repair your teeth. So if you approach these things psychologically or spiritually, it's great for understanding. You won't solve it. Mm-hmm. The issue is you're afraid and the fear is coming from the body. Specifically, your nervous system is unhealthy. And our 6-week program, through a set of simple steps that you apply every day, brings your nervous system back to health. When your nervous system is healthy, you feel safe and calm. You just feel safe. No matter what's going out on the outside world, you just feel calm and safe. Can you see, Anthony, that if you or your audience woke up every morning, just felt calm and safe, how do you think their life would be better?
It will greatly improve
Why?
because they're happy. I mean, uh-huh. That's my
Yeah.
perception.
No, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Fear will keep you from joy and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Fear will exhaust you. It'll keep you in your comfort zone. Plus, you'll spend a lot of your energy managing the symptom instead of using that energy to be the person you want to be. So when the fear is gone, and that's what our system does, you're like a kid again. Kids, before the fear happens, are confident, open-hearted, free, authentic. You'll never see a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old say, hey, I'm thinking of finger painting, but I'm really doubting myself and I need people to like me. They don't care. They're free. They have tons
Mm-hmm.
of energy. There are no 5-year-old procrastinators. They have tons of energy. You'll never hear a 5-year-old say, I want to go to the park, but I'm really worried about that I'm not very good with sand. And they don't care. They're free.
Mm-hmm.
So your audience knows that when they were younger, before things went south, they were confident, unstoppable, full of dreams and hope. That version of you is still in there. It's just the fear has cut you off from it. So in our system, once the fear is gone, you get to be like a kid again. You're happy, you're joyful, you get to do what you love, you get to show up for the people you care about, you're fulfilled. It's such a better way to live, and I see this every day. So if you are somebody that procrastinates and you know you're procrastinating and you've worked on it and you tried it and you have tips and tools, but you're still procrastinating and you want to just be free of it so you can do more of what you want to do and bring your values and purpose into the world, we can help you do that. We help people every day. If you're somebody that is afraid of rejection and you close your heart off, and so you're not able to have deep relationships or find love at all because you're afraid to get hurt, we can help you be free of the fear. So you open your heart, you either find love if you're single, or if you're in a relationship, you have a much more connected, loving relationship. If you're someone that's a perfectionist and you've tried everything and you still have it, and you just like to wake up calm and not care if you make a mistake, so that you can just be free to express yourself and be authentic and do more and be more, we help people do that every day. The list could go on and on and on, but the people we help are people that have these struggles and they've tried things and they're managing it, but they know there's more to them. They want a better life and they want to be free of it. And there are people that are skeptical, because you should be skeptical of what I'm saying. It sounds a little too good to be true, but they hear and they go, well, wait a minute. I only pay at the end when it works?
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. It must work. Otherwise, they'd be out of business. And they're paying attention going, if they only pay for results, it must mean they really care about results.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that wants this better life and you really get the power of what I'm saying, being free of it, and you only pay at the end when we help you, and you understand that we are the only company in the world that does that. We're the only company in this space that does it that way. And the reason we back up our results is because we get results. And if you see that and you go, oh my God, I'm glad I heard about this, or you know somebody in pain that wants to be free, please tell them about this. And if this calls to you, and trust me, it doesn't call to everybody, because not everybody's ready for change. But if you're ready for change, you go to danielpackard.com, and there's two options. One is, if you like what you're hearing and you want to know more about our program, you can learn about our program and you can book a free call with me, and I'll learn more about you. I'll see what you're struggling with, and I'm going to make sure that our program is a good fit for you. Because if we can't help you, we're not going to work with you, because we don't want you to fail. But also, you can ask questions and get a feel for things. So if you're curious about the program, go to danielpackard.com, learn about the program. If you want to have a call, book a free call with me. Or if you're not ready for the program, we have resources that are free that give you insights and tips and tools uh, for what you're struggling with, and give you simple, actionable steps so that you can move towards less fear and more joy. So, whether you want to do the program or whether you just want a simple, free tip and tool to move you in some insights in the right direction, all of that's available at danielpackard.com.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you for sharing all that with us. We really appreciate. And I believe that people are going to head there to danielpackard.com and connect with you and also take your offer.
I hope so. It was an honor to talk to you, Anthony. It was an honor to share this information with your audience because I know there's just a lot of people in pain that are struggling and they're stuck managing this stuff and they don't even know being free of it's an option, let alone a no risk option. So I hope I brought some hope to the right people. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, let's believe that someone got something out of this. So, we are also honored to have had you on our show. We really appreciate you taking your time and also in everything that you've done. We thank you and we ask you to keep on moving, keep on giving hope, and more than hope, the practical system that you're giving to the world.
You're very welcome. Hope and systems. Hope
Hope
and
and
systems.
systems. Yes, that's it. Hope and systems. And that's about it for today at Now Tell Us. We've been having a great episode hearing from Daniel Packard on how to be completely free from what holds us back, hopes and systems. Thank you for watching, each and every one of you who's out there. Even if you get to watch this, the recorded version of it, we thank you for watching, taking your time. Remember to subscribe to all our channels, wherever you are watching us from or listening to us, and also share it with your friends. And yeah, don't forget to go to danielpackard.com. This is it, coming from your host, Anthony Mwerore, and our special guest, Daniel Packard. We are saying until next time, it's hope and systems. Bye for now. Bye.